Hello, everyone. This is Amy Scobee and Matt Pesch coming back to you again to do part two of our escape story.
We got the dog under control now. Mango's under control. We have a mat down that has a bunch of peanut butter on it. So he's over there jumping on that to give us a little time to be able to speak over here.
We have to finish this video by the time he finishes his peanut butter.
That's basically right.
No, he'll come and visit, I'm sure. So I wanted to pick up where we left off, which was I had just been relieved of the idea that they were salvaging Matt to stay in the Sea Org. I was worried about that because we were separated and I had no idea what was going on with him, and they were trying to do that with me. So are they doing that with him, and are they successful? And I saw him over a balcony and he gave me a thumbs up. So I knew that he was still on board with leaving, and that was a big relief. So then what happened?
Okay, so this is like 6 weeks of this, getting interrogated and being asked, have you ever done anything wrong? And it's just stalling and dragging this thing out. And we're eating rice and beans 3 times, a day. And so I'm getting interrogated. It's being videoed. It's being sent to RTC, the Religious Technical Center. And it was really uncomfortable. And I just had enough. And I took the cans and I threw them down and I said, that's the F it. I said, if me and Amy aren't out of here by 12 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, I'm going to grab Amy. We're going to walk out of this place. You don't have a gate. You don't have a fence. You don't have a security guard. You have nothing that's going to stop us. We're going to go. And I got up and left. And you're not allowed to leave a session. The order is supposed to stop you and all this stuff. There was no idea that they were going to stop me. I was out of there. And that's how that part went.
Yeah, so I had no idea this was transpiring, but all of us, so I was doing laundry in the general crew laundry room for the whole Rehabilitation Project Force, RPF, and so I was in there, and all of a sudden, this piece of paper comes flying through the window and lands inside a laundry machine that I had open that had water in it and everything. And I look over real quick and I see just a glance of Matt walking past the window. So I quickly grab the piece of paper before it dissolves in the water. And I look at it, and what did it say, honey?
It basically said, get your stuff together because we're going to be out of here by 12 o'clock tomorrow. I'm going to come and get you. And I had a security guard walk behind me. He never even saw me throw the note through. And so, yeah, that's what was going on.
I was like, I was freaking out because what does that look like? What is that going to be? Matt's on a rampage. He's sneaking me a note that he's coming to get me and we're leaving. And if we have to bust through the gates or whatever. And I'm like, and pack my bags. And I'm like, oh my God. So, but I was on board with getting out of there, and I trusted him. So, so then what happened after that?
Well, the next morning, they grab me and they drive me off the property. They bring me to a Greyhound bus station in Tampa, and I'm going to be taking a Greyhound bus to my parents' place. And I'm trying to find out about you and Kathy True from the Office of Special Affairs, the spy wing of Scientology. She says, I have no idea what's happening with Amy, while she had just taken you to the airport.
Oh, but hold on. This whole time, she was interrogating me on the e-meter, until I finally said, oh, I think that David Miscavige is the leader of leaders, and that the whole reason Scientology exists is because of David Miscavige. He's the most wonderful person in the whole wide world, and I respect him. And okay, so that was my ticket out. So
they felt that you were safe to release or something like that.
Yeah. Like I had I was sufficiently subservient and indoctrinated that I wasn't going to be any trouble or something, I guess. But so she was dealing with me this whole time. So for her to tell Matt, oh, I don't know anything about her or what her situation is, or what'd she say?
Yeah, they're desperately trying to make it so that we don't reconnect up. And that was kind of what they would do with people that they were putting out of the Sea Org, was try to send them to the far reaches of the earth and try to keep them away from connecting up with other people that would discuss what was going on.
Yeah. So what happened on my end, after I got this note, then I wrote a little note and stuck it in Matt's underwear saying, okay, I got
You
your
know how
note.
many girls were putting notes in underwear?
I asked him one time, did you ever get that note I put in your underwear? And he says, do you know how many girls put notes in my underwear? So, so, um, so they confiscated everything, all of my address book, my contact information, and everything, because we had made a plan, and we gave each other contact information in case they separated us, which they did instantly. So we already knew. So, but they confiscated everything of that kind of stuff, and so I didn't know anything about what was happening with Matt. But Kathy True, after I, kissed David Miscavige's butt, basically said, okay, so here's $150. But here's $300 or something like that, but we're using it for your flight home. So I think I had like $100, maybe $150 cash to start in the world at age 42. No home, no car, no job, no education, because I started working for Scientology at age 14 full time. Never went to high school, never continued my education inside Scientology whatsoever. So here I am going into the world. So she drives me to the airport. Now, I don't even get to tell anybody, stop and call to tell anybody to pick me up at the airport. So I'm at some halfway point, connection point, maybe Dallas or something. I don't know, Denver maybe. And I call my dad and I said, I'm on my way home. Can you pick me up from the airport? Okay, realize I haven't been home in like 25 years. Okay, I haven't given my dad the time of day. And all of a sudden, I'm landing permanently on his doorstep. He was gracious enough to put aside, they were like on their way to a concert or something like that. And so they just came and picked me up at the airport. But what happened at your end?
All right, so my end, the security guard is driving me to the bus station, and he is so nervous that his body is shaking. And there's a backstory to that, which I won't get into right now. But anyway, we get to
he should have been shaking.
we had a little history.
Yeah.
So we get to the bus station, and then there's the girl from OSER, and she gives me the SP declare, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, okay, fine. I don't care no more. Whatever. I'm just so happy to be out of there. I felt so much relief. And I called my parents, who lived in Dade City, which is about an hour away from Clearwater. They lived in a trailer park, a high-end kind of trailer park with a nice golf course and all that kind of good stuff. Anyway, I said, hey, I'm out. Can you come pick me up? I'm out of the Sea Org. And they're like, you're out? You're like, I've been in for 27 years. You're out? You mean out? And I said, yeah, I'm out. And they were like really excited because they never were in Scientology. They didn't like Scientology, especially my dad didn't like it. And so, yeah, they came and picked me up. I went back to their house and I explained what was going on, that me and Amy were going to both, connect up and we were going to start a new life together. And of course, my two sisters who were in Scientology, the whole family's like finding out at the same time that I'm out, and everybody's excited. And I said, yeah, I'll be going to Washington State. That's where Amy's from. And so take it from there.
Yeah, well, just to back up a little bit. So we went through this whole, months of interrogations and hard manual labor and being fed a diet of rice and beans only as punishment in order to play along, to leave in good standing, because we both had family in Scientology. So, but we were both handed SP declare, suppressive person declare issues on our way out the door. So, boy, I don't know why.
It was pretty inevitable. I mean, there's even an issue from L. Ron Hubbard saying that anybody that worked at the international base, if they don't make it in the Sea Org, then they're to be declared a suppressive person. It's kind of like to put your, back against the wall kind of thing. But we were still hoping that we could get out of there if we played along.
Cooperate. Because part of the thing about cooperating, what you also do is you sign all this crap
Oh
that
yeah.
they
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
know. You sign all this stuff that they write up in your name. I was such a terrible person.
That's right.
I destroyed everything I touched. All this stuff. And I said, this is exaggerated. But I signed it. I don't care. I
Yeah.
got to get out of here. I got to get out of here. I
Yeah, I
did.
mean, if we were such meatheads, would we have been in the positions we held for like over, 25 years? But they put all this stuff down, and you sign it, and they're, notarizing it and videoing it and all this. But you don't really care. You could say I like used to kill everybody and eat them and stuff like that for lunch, and I don't care. Whatever I need to do to get the heck out of this place.
Oh my God, let me out of here. And also on the documents, it says like, you're going to pay $10,000 if you come into the city of Clearwater again or something
Oh
like that.
yeah, that's the other thing.
Right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And, to
They
try
don't.
to
Yeah.
keep us out of town.
Oh,
So-
somebody's here.
Peanut butter's gone.
I guess we got any more peanut butter?
I got a whole jar just for him. Okay, Mango. Now what? Now what? You're up here. Now what? Huh? You're up here. So yeah, you have to sign all these stupid things in order to get out. Otherwise they won't let you out until you do. And I just
You got peanut
wanted
butter on your neck now.
I do not. And I just wanted off the property. I could taste freedom. I was watching, over the fence. I'm behind this fence for years, and I'm looking over the fence and I'm thinking, I wonder what the people in that car are doing. I wonder if they're going to the beach. I wonder, people are living normal lives and they don't understand that we're behind these fences, so trapped and so, it's just so demoralizing. But anyway, I just wanted out, and I wanted to know what was happening with Matt and where he was.
All right, so then you get to your dad's house, and what do you do?
Okay, so I arrived to Seattle, and I arrived to my dad's house. I'm like a kid in a candy store because it's the first time I've been free for like 27 years.
And you started checking out to see if there was any Pesches.
I know, I'm getting there.
Good.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the most important part. But
Yeah.
I'm just kind of giving an
All
idea
right,
of like
all
what
right.
it's like. I mean, so I'm with my dad. My dad is the first time forever to see him, and also, he had a heart attack several years prior to that and was in the hospital with a 4-way bypass, and I couldn't leave the Sea Org in order to come and see him unless I had a full-time buddy guard with me, which I would have had to pay for their flight too. And where were they going to stay? In my dad's house? I mean, anyway, so I'm at dad's house. The other thing that I do right away, I was told, because I was handed this SP declare, I was told that I can't make contact with my mom. So that night after I arrived, it's like, I don't know what time in the morning, like 4 a.m. or something, and it's just eating me. So I get out of bed and I call my mom and tell her, I'm in Seattle. I got an SP declare. I need to see you and tell you my side of the story before Scientology tells you a bunch of lies about me. So the next day we met and I told her everything. And while I was there at her house, the Office of Special Affairs came and knocked on the door. So I hid in the back bedroom and they came in for like an hour with papers and documentation telling her that she needed to disconnect from me because now I'm declared a suppressive person, and that she needed to cooperate with that because it's for the best for Scientology and for me so that I have the opportunity to get my act together, blah, blah. And so she was like playing along. Okay, yep, Meantime, I'm in the back room, and so that was the first day. Now, meantime, I'm like frantically trying to figure out where's Matt, because they confiscated any numbers. So I started just calling. This is during the times when you called information. I think it was 411 or something like that for different area codes. You would call information. And so I said, anyone with the name Pesch, last name Pesch, P-E-S-C-H, go and tell me any phone number. So I got a list of numbers and I just started calling. And now I'm declared, and his sisters are still Scientologists, so I don't want to talk to them, but I'm hoping that maybe Matt will be picking up a phone or something. And so I didn't reach anybody, and I didn't leave any messages either the first time. Now, what happened at your
Okay,
end?
so at my end, I explained to my family that you may still be at the hacienda and the apartments there, and if so, I need to go in there and break you out. And my dad says, "Well, I'll drive you there, and whatever you need, count me in," because he's ready to rock and roll. And so we were all set to go to hacienda, and it would have been a situation, it would have been a scene. I'm sure the police would have been involved and all that kind of stuff. And OSA, there they are creating a situation rather than being honest and saying what's going on. They tried to play this little sneaky junk, and it almost backfired in their face. But anyway, so Amy had not left a message, but she had tried to call my sister's phone, and my sister saw that it was from Washington State, knowing that I was going to go there. She said, "Hey, looks like, maybe this is Amy trying to call." So she gave me the phone number, and I called the number, and what happened?
So it was my dad that picked up the phone, and he said, "Hey, Amy," and I'm in the, another room of the house. Yeah, and he said, "Matt's on the phone." Oh my God. So I went running over there, grabbed up the phone, and it was Matt. And so we made arrangements for him to fly up to Seattle right away. Yeah. The next day he got on an airplane, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so he basically had a paper bag with a pair of underwear.
Yeah. My life belongings will all fit in like a brown paper bag. Hey. Your daughter is really hooked up to a really great guy here. He's got all his stuff in a brown paper bag. Future looks good. Okay, so we're ready to start again. Mango's got some more peanut butter. And so the story is, at this point, I'm landing in Seattle at the airport. Your dad's there with you to pick me up. And I got my little bag, and I'm coming off the plane.
To Seattle, yeah. So he arrives with a couple pair of socks and underwear in a little brown paper bag. So yeah, I didn't marry this man for his money. But right away, so we applied for a marriage license when he got there, and I guess they have a little waiting period or something like that before you can get married. So the first date that was available was March 13th. So we got married on March 13th, 2005.
Yeah, that's usually a Scientology holiday. So we figured, well, it'll be easy to remember what date we got married.
Yeah, well, and also it's nicer to think about my husband and starting a new life on March 13th than it is to think about L. Ron Hubbard.
Yeah.
It just it just replaced that, which is really good.
So we go.
Well, okay, so now get the picture of we're like two kids, even though we're in our mid 40s, starting in the world fresh. Okay. With nothing. I don't have a GED, never went to high school. I didn't know how to cook. I didn't know how to drive. I didn't have a bank account. I never went grocery shopping. I mean, like, it was that bad. I was so isolated my whole life.
But you were a good stuccoer.
I could stucco.
Yeah,
I could stucco. I could do electrical work. I could do pretty much
concrete,
anything.
roofing. I mean, all the things that a wife should know how to do.
Dig a lot of trenches.
You couldn't cook. You couldn't drive. You couldn't do a lot of those things. But hey.
But I was good at some other stuff. But anyway, oh well. Yeah. So we went grocery shopping. That was one of our very first things. We went grocery shopping together, and it was so exciting because we could get anything we wanted. My dad took us around, and we got like pots and pans and this and that, and just different things that you would need to survive. But when we went grocery shopping, the first thing that we got was root beer floats.
Yeah, root beer and some ice cream, and
because that was something that I really enjoyed as a kid. A&W root beer floats was a big deal as a kid, as a treat. And so now we're in the real world, and we can get whatever we wanted. We also, my dad had like a 7-inch little VCR player, so we rented the video Forrest Gump. I don't know what year Forrest Gump came out, but We had heard about it, wanted to see it, but you don't watch movies really in the Sea Org, and
Especially not the RPF.
oh,
You don't
never
get,
in the RPF.
you don't, you can't even listen to music.
No.
Nothing.
Yeah, and so this is something. So we got a little what was it called, Behringer sparkling wine or whatever.
Yeah.
We got some wine, and we got Forrest Gump, and we got root beer floats, and oh, we were like kids in a little candy store. Anyway, so now we needed transportation, we needed work. So that's your department. What happened?
All right. So I didn't have very much money. I had like a few $100. So I bought a van that didn't have transmission. I mean, it couldn't come out of first gear. So I drive this van in front of Amy's dad's house, and she's got a distant relative who's
Mechanic.
he's not he's kind of like your backyard mechanic, but he's also on the methadone treatment program. He's been crushed between two vehicles, so he has body problems, and
Claustrophobia.
he's claustrophobic. I mean, all these different things. But anyway, he's got some knowledge, and between him and me, we're going to take the most basic tools that you would just have sitting around your house, and we're going to put a new transmission in this thing. So we spent 2 days in the rain, under the van, pulling the old transmission out. We went to a junkyard, and we bought another transmission, hoping that the reason that transmission was sitting in the junkyard wasn't because it didn't work. And we brought it back. We got it in, and amazingly, it worked. So we had a van to use.
Oh, that was our van. That was our trustworthy van for a long time after that.
Yeah.
And then, so I was looking for places to stay while he was getting the van.
Oh, but we needed to make some money right away.
Oh,
so what we did was we went down to one of these job service things where they would hire you and give you a job, and you get a paycheck, and you kind of going day by day. And they set us up with this box company, and me and Amy were building these boxes, but we're happy as heck. We're like, woo, in freedom. We're building these boxes. The company can't believe like how happy we are working and how hard we're working. They actually wanted to ask us if we'd be managers for this huge box company.
I mean, we were just like, we were on this assembly line, and see, our training of working around the clock at a dead run for our whole lives was very fresh at that point. And so the people there were like, chill out, take a break, because we're just trying to get that assembly line going, and as if it were like the whole world depended on it for these boxes. But yeah, so they wanted to hire us.
So here we were, we're getting paychecks. We knew we needed paychecks if we're going to rent an apartment or do anything like that. We're going to need paychecks. So we're getting the paychecks. Now we have a van, and
we go to apply at an apartment. And the place that I found was in Auburn, and it was close to Dick Scobee Airfield, which is, my uncle is Dick Scobee, and a airport was named in his honor. He was an astronaut that was on the Challenger. He was the commander of the Challenger flight that had exploded on takeoff with the school teacher on there. So the little town of Auburn is where he grew up, and is where I grew up. And so there's there's a school named after him, an airport, his murals in the post office and in the high school, and all this. So it's my little hometown. So I picked an apartment that was close to the airport, and I went in with Matt, and we applied for the apartment.
So we go in there and we talk with the woman who's in charge of renting out the apartments.
The manager.
The manager. And, Amy explains that she's Amy Scobee, blah, blah, blah. And the woman says, go ahead.
Well, we give her our pay stubs and she and our names, and then she checks to see our credit, which we don't have any.
Right.
We don't have any. Nothing appears when we were incognito for 27 years. So, but I was Amy Scobee, and the thing that she loved was the fact that his legal name is Mark, and my name is Amy, and her son's name is Mark, and her daughter's name is Amy. So she felt like it was an omen.
We just hit it off with the lady, and she wanted us in there.
Yeah, so she allowed us to rent from her, even though we didn't have the credit that we needed.
Yeah.
and but we were, working. So we moved in to the apartment, and now we had no furniture. It was literally a blank apartment.
We had this little tiny radio, like a $2 radio that we listened to the basketball games on. And I mean, we were happy as, it could be. We were just so happy to be free and have our own place and our own time and, have our own life, that we didn't really care whether we had furniture or what we had. We were like, we were having fun.
I know. I remember. Do you remember the time we were sitting on the living room floor because we didn't have any furniture, and we just started laughing.
Yeah.
Rolling on this floor, laughing that we're free and this is our new life and we're creating it together. And we were just laughing at the fact that we've got a whole place and not a single thing in it.
And then Amy's stepmom, she says, "Hey, there's this thrift place,
thrift store,
and it's got really cheap furniture. They get, it's all given to people. People give it for a tax write-off, donations and stuff like that. Anyway, they got couches out in front. They're trying to get rid of for $15 a piece. They got dining tables for like $30. I mean, it was super cheap. But the place kind of was like a dump. And Amy said, I think this place is a real dump. And I said, I think it's a gold mine. I said, we could take this furniture and flip it make some money with it. And what we did was we went back to our apartment and we laid plastic from wall to wall. And we grabbed up some of this furniture and we were refinishing it. And literally, we were taking turns waking up at night to put the next coat of varnish on and this kind of thing. And then we started selling the furniture to people that worked at the box company that needed different types of furniture. And then we decided.
So this place was a gold mine. We would buy up this things like dressers and coffee tables and things like that, and fix it up and flip it. So then we just decided, you know what? I mean, let's quit our box company job and let's flip furniture in our little apartment. So we did. We quit. We took the plunge. We quit. And
Well, before we quit, what happened was we said we need to do a garage sale kind of thing, a yard sale.
Yeah.
But we can't do a yard sale at the apartment complex.
Yeah.
So we need to find a location that we can do a yard sale. And
with all these things that we prepared, because we sold a bunch of stuff to people at work. Now we quit the work. Now we've accumulated a bunch of other things, pieces of furniture. So how can we sell this? How are we going to do this? We didn't have a computer. We didn't know anything about anything computer-wise because you don't learn that in Scientology. You have your own internal system. I wasn't ever on the internet. So we were trying to figure it out, and garage sale was what we came up with, but we're living in an apartment complex. So we had this big bright idea to go find somebody's garage to sell from.
Yeah, we need to find somebody who would let us do a yard sale from their yard. So we headed on out, and we saw this one place that looked like it could be good.
Yeah, because it was right on a really busy road, right off of a super busy road. And so we saw kind of like a empty lot, and I went, I had to, pull over, let's check it out. So I go in there and nobody answers the door. And Les Schwab had just bought up that property because they were going to expand their business there. So somebody came over and said, oh, that no one lives there, because I was trying to knock on the door. No one lives there. And they have that property has been purchased by Les Schwab. And I said, well, where do you live? And he looks at me like, yeah, just across the street. And I said, oh, you mean right there with the big driveway?
Double wide driveway.
Double wide driveway? And he said, yeah. And I said, would you mind if we did a garage sale on your property? We live in an apartment local and everything, but we have this furniture that we want to sell. And he said, well, I have some things that I want to sell too. So if you put that out with it, it would be fine.
Yeah, he was an older gentleman, real nice guy.
Super nice guy.
So we had a storage unit that had all this furniture that we had fixed up and was ready to sell. So we brought it up with our van and stuff like that. We brought it over, we set it up in his driveway, and we're selling it. We're selling it so fast that I needed more inventory. So I started driving around the area, finding other people who were doing yard sales, and I would say, how much for everything you have in your yard that you're trying to sell? And I would, get a good price for everything they had. I'd take all that stuff, bring it back to where we were selling, and we did this through the weekend.
I think it was Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah. We wound up making $5,000 profit that weekend. And we're like, holy crap, man, this is the way to go. So now we need a house. We need to rent a house that we can just do garage sales from, yard sales from. And when we were doing the yard sale, I had been talking to this guy for like 45 minutes. We kind of hit it off and we were just bullcrapping. And when we wanted to go find a place to rent, we saw that
we were looking for someplace on a really busy road in Auburn.
Yeah.
And so we saw a house that had a for rent sign on it. And it was cute, and it was right on probably one of the busiest roads in Auburn.
So we knock on the door, and who answers the door? It's the guy that I was talking to for 45 minutes. And he's like surprised. He's like, hey, what are you doing here? And I said, hey, we're trying to, find a place to rent. And he said, well, I had a whole bunch of people who were interested in renting this, but, I would rather rent it to you guys.
He had like 20 applications.
Something crazy like that.
Yeah.
And so his house needed work. It had like some broken windows. It had a floor that was buckling. It was missing different trim work in it.
Holes in the doors.
Yeah, it had some issues, right? It needed carpet in one of the bedrooms. And I said, listen, I'll fix up your house. You buy the materials, and while we're in there, I'll fix up the house. And but that'll be for the first and last month of rent. Yeah, we didn't have a whole lot of money, so. He said, yeah, that'd be great, So that's what we did. We moved in there, and I wound up, fixing up his house for him, and that covered the first and last. And we continued to buy that furniture from that place, and we were doing 2 garage sales a week. Talk about how that went with the.
I mean, as soon as we opened the garage door, right by that house there was a railroad track, and the train would run pretty often. So people would line up waiting for the train to go right in front of our house. So people would see all the furniture out there and stuff, and how much for this? How much for that?
Yeah, they'd be yelling out their windows, hey, how much for that dining table? How much for that couch? And and then they would pull over, and we became really well known in the neighborhood for having these yard sales and having all this great stuff out there. And we were making, I think we were making over $1,000 every time we did a yard sale. So we were making about $2,000 or a little bit more per week. And we kept a notebook on what we had, what we paid, every item, what we paid for it, what we sold it for, blah, 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 blah. And we were cleaning up.
And the reason why it was selling so fast is because we actually priced everything super, super low because we were getting it for almost nothing. And so it just flew. I mean, as soon as the garage doors went up, the stuff went out. And so the little discount place that we were getting this from was a little gold mine. Tell them what happened.
Well, the guy that ran it, he was this old guy. He was from the Bronx, where my mom was from, and he was a real hustler. And he had a medical situation where he wasn't going to really live that long, and he really wasn't doing the business for any other reason but just to do something. And he liked that we were starting and we were hustlers, and
you guys hit it off so well.
Yeah, so
we called him Pop.
Yeah, we called him Pop, and he was just giving us furniture like almost free. I mean, we're just loading up the van, and every day we would load up the van and bring it back down to our place. And we were like maybe 5 miles away from this place. And he also had a thing where whoever was in the parking lot when first to buy furniture in the morning, they would get first choice of what they got. And you would take these tickets and you would stick them on the furniture that you wanted. Well, there was another guy who was making a living off the place, and he would get there really early. Like I say, okay, I'm going to make sure I'm first. And I'd go there like 7 o'clock in the morning. No, the dude's there. I get there at 5 o'clock. No, he's there. I find out this guy is sleeping there.
To be first.
Yeah, he's got like a truck with one of those camper things attached to it in the back and all this stuff, and he's sleeping there to make sure he's going to be first. And I'm like, well, you know what? I got there every day in the evening before the guy opened the next day. I'd sleep in the parking lot the whole night through. to make sure I was first. And then I was getting all the furniture, and this guy couldn't keep up with it because he was trying to sell furniture at the local swap meet every day. And by the time he got home from the swap meet, I was ready in the parking lot waiting for the next day's furniture.
And so we needed a second van because of this. See what happens, this discount store, every day they were getting trucks and trucks and trucks full of stuff, and then they just they kept the stuff that they wanted and sold the other stuff for nothing. But we needed a second van, so I had a cousin that had huge acreages and all these like busted down not busted down, just semi trucks and vehicles all over it. And
he was like a hoarder of old cars, trucks, and boats. I mean, I counted 28 boats, cars, and trucks sitting on his property,
and semis
with trees growing out of it, and plants growing out of the back seats, and all kinds of stuff.
I said, do any of these work? Oh, they all work.
Yeah, it was funny.
They used to be in the trucking business. So I saw an extended white van. It's like one of the a little school kind of van. And I said, does that work? Yes. So I bought it from them for $500. And we took it down to get, because it was during the time where you had to get emission tests done. So we took it down to get an emission test right away so we could get it on the road and start using it for our furniture. And when we got to the emission test location, the person working there had her eyes like wide open, like, oh my God, I've never seen anything like this before in my life. And I'm like, what's going on? Apparently there were ants crawling all over the entire vehicle in the back, and because it was out in the field.
There was an ant nest in there, and they're all crawling out of the engine and out of the hood, and there's ants everywhere, and this lady's like freaking out. And she does the test on the vehicle, and of course it flunks. She's like, "Oh no, this is like, forget it. The emissions is like off the chart bad." So what we did was we went and got some additive that.
We told the trick.
Yeah, the trick. Go get some heat. It's called heat, and it's a gas additive. And you put this in your gas. You drive, a few miles with that, let it stir around there, get into the whole system, then go back and try it again. So we're back there like an hour later, and she's like, "Oh, because you get ants and all. Because once you pay for it, you get 2 tries. So we're there for a second try." So she's like, so she hooks us up and she tests it. Oh, we passed. She can't believe it. We passed the emissions test. So yeah. So now we had 2 vans to pick up furniture.
So I would sleep at home. He would sleep in the parking lot, and I would leave first thing in the morning with my van and get there so that the 2 of us, because you had to put tags on the things that you were going to buy. So we picked all the things that we were going to buy and then ran around and put the tags down before anybody else could, and buy up all that stuff and then take it home and fix up anything we needed to fix up, and then sell it at the garage sale.
Yep.
Well, that didn't last too long.
Well, pretty soon the city threw a fit because they're like,
that's not a garage sale.
These aren't garage sales. These aren't, this is way bigger and better than that. So, you guys can't do that anymore. So we're like, oh, okay. So now we need another place.
Yeah. So, well, the other thing is, did we go on to, I think we went on to the computer before we got another place.
Yeah, I guess we did. That's right, we did.
What happened was...
oh, yeah.
So someone at Pops that we met said, have you ever tried selling anything on Craigslist? And we're like, what's that? No, I don't know anything about it. And it's a online app. And I'm like, okay, I don't use the computer. I don't even have a computer. And so I needed a computer in order to do this Craigslist thing because we weren't going to be able to do the garage sale thing anymore. So what I did is I looked up in the newspaper for anyone selling a laptop, and we found something like so many miles away.
Yeah, it was like an hour drive. Some guy was selling, a laptop, and we're like all excited. We're gonna get a computer, right?
An hour away to go get this laptop, and then I get it home. I don't know how to use it.
We have no idea how to use this computer.
Nothing about it. So then I look in the newspaper to find a technician.
Yeah, we went to the Yellow Pages, And we called this guy up, and he said he would come and hook it up for us and show us how to use the computer, for $100. And well,
Yes.
that was a lot of money. And we said, okay, yeah,
Yeah. So he came over, probably just plugged it in.
yeah.
But so I did a real fast course in the computer and the internet. And so then I started listing all of our furniture on Craigslist, and we started selling via the computer. And we didn't miss a beat. We didn't it didn't cut our sales whatsoever. Like, I was really surprised. This Craigslist thing was really big back then in Seattle.
And then we wanted to get out of the house that we were in and get
Yeah.
something bigger. So we were looking for a bigger house, something with like a big shop, with like we could really put a bunch of furniture in there. And so we looked around and we found a place that your cousin, I guess, helped us with that.
Yeah, my cousin had lived next door to this place and knew the person who owned it, and knew that we were looking for a place with a shop, so suggested it. And so we applied there.
Oh yeah. So now, of course, they want to do a financial check on
Background
us,
check.
right? So, and we're doing it through one of these management companies that manages the rental of the house.
Yeah.
So the lady's going to do the check, and we're going to see her the next day. We show up, and she says, she's kind of embarrassed, and she says, it's not that you guys have bad credit. She said, you actually don't exist financially. You have no, it's like you don't exist. And I said, have you ever heard of the Witness Protection Program? And she said, oh, that's what I thought it was that. My husband said it's either drugs or the Witness Protection Program. And you don't look like you guys do drugs. So she was totally satisfied with the fact that we were part of the Witness Protection Program. That's why we put no credit, no existence financially anywhere for our whole lives. And she said, well, if you can bring me 6 months of a rent up front, then you can get in. I said, what do you want me to show up with the cash in the bag? And she's like, and anyway, we went and we brought her the money and we got in there.
House and it had a shop. And then he started just going to auctions.
Oh, I got a box truck.
Yeah, he got a box truck even before we moved into that place,
Yeah,
because
just-
we were expanding and,
Yeah.
on the furniture end of it, and he started going to auctions. Oh, that Pop's place started an auction there.
Yeah.
And it was fun because it was just getting started, the auction there, and they would have these huge box lots that they were selling for like $2, and it would have full dish sets and all kinds of different things in there. And to me it was awesome because all these knickknacks and stuff, because I was trying to create a home, with nothing. And so I would keep things and then sell the other stuff, and then as soon as something else came in that I liked better, I'd sell the other stuff. And it was really funny when his mom came and stayed with us, or parents came to stay with us. His mom would get a chair that she really liked, and then it would be sold out from underneath her, and then she'd get another one. Anyway, so we just had fun with the furniture business when we first got started, and it really helped us get on our feet. So that's how we got started in the world, with no credit, no life experience, no high school diplomas, no previous job experience.
We looked for opportunity and we jumped on it, and all the money we made, we put it back into things that would make more money.
Yeah.
And we just got on a roll, and we just worked our little butts off and had a ball.
And had a ball. And so we really just cherished our time to be able to, I don't need to say that. We just cherished it.
We just sat around staring at each other.
Yes.
But yeah, it went really well, and it continued to go well. And
Yeah.
now it's been 18 years, and we're doing great. And we own our own house totally, and different things. Anyway, We can fill all that stuff in because it gets exciting because the church, of course, didn't just leave us alone.
Okay.
They're literally calling me. I'm at the auctions and saying, "Hey, you can't talk to this person. You can't do this and that." And I'm saying, "Are you kidding me?" I said, "You have no leverage on me. When you declared me a suppressive person, that was the last bit of leverage you could have had on us." And I said, "You blew it. You declared us. Now you have zero ability to leverage anything with us." And I wrote him a letter. I said, "We're out of the church. We want nothing to do with you guys. Leave us alone." And that's how that went. But of course, that's not how they went. So there's a whole, just like they do, if you're declared a suppressive person, then their policy is they're supposed to ruin your life completely and utterly. And they put a lot of time and money into doing that. A lot. And you know what? It didn't work because we're still doing our thing. So.
We're happy. We're healthy. Yes, despite you, Scientology. So there you go.
Lots of stories we can tell.
Oh, yeah.
But that gives you how we got launched.
Yeah, that's how we got launched. And we're going to share a lot more. And thank you for your interest. Thank you for watching.
Ringo's going to be eating a lot of peanut butter, I can tell you. We're going to be doing a lot more of these videos.
Yes. Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, thank you for watching my video. If you like it, please hit the like button, subscribe, comment. What else are you supposed to do? Share it. I go through and I do see your comments. So just know that I am looking and respond when I can. And I care about what you have to say. So if you would like to order my book, my paperback version of my book directly from me, which is signed by myself and my husband, you send $19.95, which includes shipping, to paypal.me/Scobee Publishing. All right, more to come, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.